All right, I'm live, and I wanted to do a quick one. This isn't going to be real long. I'm going to show you. We just woke Spry up. It won't take long for her to lay back down. It's Friday afternoon. I realize that it's a little earlier than I normally do this. It's not Alive with Spry. It's going to be a little bit different than Alive with Spry. I've kicked around and talked about doing a project, dog bone game recovery, or dog bone recovery is what we kind of have been calling it. And so I've gotten to the point. I just made a post not too long ago, and I posted a video that a guy sent me. Nicole is in. Welcome, Nicole. Curtis is coming on. So as people start coming on here, you'll hear me. I'm going to be short with it, but I want to make when I got that video, I got a video this week. I got bow seasons opened up in the last couple weeks here in the Midwest anyway. Out west, I know they started a little earlier, but Jeff is on, Jeff Trudell, Jeff Bragg, Ron Herring. So we'll probably get a new group because we've been doing kind of later evening stuff with our Live with Spry, and this is going to be something that's separate. Live with Spry is going to keep going, but this is going to be a little bit different. Sam Thomas got in. Hey, Sam. Patrick is in. Good evening. How old should the pup be to start with this? Doesn't matter, Jeff. That's a great question. This one's going to be easier for me to interact and ask questions because I'm not going to, well, right now anyway it is. Eventually we're going to be actually working dogs, so it's going to probably follow a similar, Brooke is in. Hey, Brooke. It's going to follow a similar probably template to what we did with Live with Spry, but it will be 100% focused on game recovery stuff. But anyway, I got these videos, and I got a bunch of messages after opening weekend of bow season, and people had shared pictures of deer that they had found using their dogs for recovery. And so it was something that I've been thinking about now over the last couple of years. We've had our game recovery products out now for several years, probably 4 years now, I'm going to say. And one of the things that we have realized is there is a hesitation. There's a lot of people hesitant to work their dogs on recovery, and I don't understand why. That's what we're trying to figure out. One of the things that we think there's hesitation because there's that fear of there's three things. I think people think that it's real hard and real difficult. I think people think it's extremely time consuming, and I think people think that it's something that's done by professionals, not amateurs. And so I disagree with that. And so when I say that, I open myself up. And I've talked about this a little bit in some of the Live with Sprys, to criticisms from some. I risk offending some trackers. There's definitely a small group of real seasoned and experienced trackers out there with a wealth of knowledge, and I don't discount the fact that they've worked very hard, put a lot of time, put a lot of effort in to do it. Now they're trackers and they take it very seriously, and a lot of them do it as a service. What I don't like about that, and I think there's an important place for that, I don't do that. Don't have time. It just does not work for me to be a tracking service. But there are some out there, lots of them have grown over the last few years, which is awesome. The thing that I don't like about the idea of that exclusively is that when you have a tracking service, some charge money, some don't, and I won't even get into that because that's a big can of worms to open. I don't care. I think there's a value to it. I think you put measurable value to a service like that. So that's where I stand on it. But when it comes to that, A, availability isn't always there, and B, sometimes people aren't going to spend the money to get a tracker to come track certain deer. If you don't shoot, if it's a doe and it's Sunday night and you got to work on Monday morning, and you might not hire a tracker to come track that deer. And for that reason, A, might not be available, B, you don't want to pay whatever the cost is, but whatever the reason is, doesn't matter to me. The bottom line is, I really believe that every deer deserves to be recovered, should be recovered, if it's recoverable. Now, they don't all die, and that's reality, and I love the idea of having a tracking dog because if they don't die, I feel very, very comfortable with the idea of we did everything we could to recover it if it was possible, and sometimes they're just not recoverable because they're not dead. I think that is, without question, the value in having the ability to have a tracking dog at your disposal for you to use when you want. So how do you get that? Well, I think you need more trackers. And I don't necessarily think that you need to be a tracking service in order to track deer. And so our point of this, the dog bone recovery movement, is to try to get it so that we can offer the information and try to eliminate the idea of just don't know how to do it. I think people say they don't know how to do it. We're going to help you. Okay, I'm going to show you. I've got dogs ranging, and this goes back to, I think it was Jeff's question. Jeff asked, how old should the pup be? Well, I've got one that's going to be coming in that's going to be about 12 weeks old, 12 or 13 weeks old. She's going to get started. I've got another one, Moja. You guys have seen Moja a little bit. 14 weeks old, something like that, 15 weeks old. She's been started a little bit, and some of you have seen that. She's going to be involved in this. I've got Ellie, who has never tracked a deer. She's 2 years old. She's never tracked one for me, and I've done very little tracking drills with her. I'm going to use her for this. I've got a dog that I've got a dog coming in that's very experienced as far as training, but he's struggling with tracking, and his owner has asked me to work on it for tracking. So I'm going to be bringing that dog in, and we'll talk more about that when I get him here because I don't know exactly the logistics of it yet. But someone says you're breaking up. Bad area, I'll watch later. Oh, I'm hoping let me know if I'm breaking up because I'm in my warehouse, and if I'm breaking up here, man, I don't have a chance anywhere. So let me know if you guys, if you could give me a comment if you're hearing this or not. But if not, let me know too. But so I'm going to bring that dog in. And then I've got my old dog, Taylor. And so all of those dogs are going to be a part of this. And that's fine. You'll be able to watch me do stuff. It's not you, Joe said. Excellent. But here's the value, I think. All the people that sent me the messages shared I got a voicemail that I'm going to share with you guys on here that I want you to hear because I think it's real powerful. The value for me, I think, is having people that have done this already, used our products, used other products, I don't care if they're our products or not, have trained your own dog and found success. That to me is the most important because anyone who's on the fence, we did a post 2 days ago and we did a post last night about this. And I had really nice interaction. I'm just going to refer to a couple of them. Vicky Rayburn. Vicky follows a bunch of our stuff with Live with Spry. She's great. She contributes a bunch of comments and stuff. That's the value of our Live with Spries is they're real interactive. She just, after one of the posts, she said, you nailed it. I haven't started because I wasn't 100% sure how to train. Thanks for your help. Okay? So there's one person. Had another person that said, I just got a German Shepherd pup. Not sure where to start. How do I start this? Had another guy here, Curtis Long, commented twice. One of them was he started with his beagles using raw deer meat. His other comment was, if I can find it quickly, he made a comment and said, she is so food motivated, a little refresher track, and he put a little video up, and he said the dog bone game recovery system is awesome. So he's used it. Had another guy share a comment. Let's see this one. Well, here's one. Rob Miller. Rob Miller's when you start talking tracking services, Rob Miller has a tracking service. Rob Miller's forgotten more about tracking than most of us will ever know. He commented in and said, information is submitted. So there's some stuff, there's some steps that we're going to talk about. He has submitted his. So I messaged him back. I said, man, to have someone with your experience in this, super valuable. So here's where I'm going to do some stuff. Uh-oh, Sierra's on right now. Oh, boy. Watch the comments, Sierra. I am going to provide information that I think is valuable for training, but I also want the involvement to be you guys. So that's what's going to be a little bit different about this. This is a little different than Live with Spry. This is, if you have had success training, I want you to share to our page. So share your pictures, share your videos, share your questions, share your success stories, because you showing that, hey, I took a dog, I put a little bit of work into it, I used some simple tools, put a little bit of effort in, and it found one deer for me last year. That alone, to me, is so valuable because it will possibly motivate, let's see, Joe Lehman, who says he just got this shepherd pup and he's wondering how to do it. It'll motivate the Vicky Rayburn, who says, I wasn't sure how to do it. I was hesitant about it. You know how many people are hesitant about doing this? And the reason is because they're not a professional trainer. They're not a tracking service. Nah, that's nonsense, okay? So the idea is I want to have those who have done it push people to the point where they're willing to try it. The other part of it is those who are new to it. Now I'm going to ask, so this isn't going to be just an observing thing. This isn't going to be something like Live with Spry. We got a lot of people that watch Live with Spry. I love that. I think it's awesome. I got a lot of people that watch it and they're an audience, they're not a practitioner. And they can't figure out, how come my dog's not doing what Spry's does? Because you're not doing what we did with Spry. That's usually the answer. So what I need practitioners. I need people who are willing to take the information and then put it into work, put the work in and put it into place. So the other part is questions. This is going to be a completely wide open thing where those who are new to it are going to have an opportunity to ask questions. So you're going to be it's going to be really active. I'm going to require you to be active with our site, with our page, and we're going to use our Facebook page for this. We're going to do a lot of it and transfer it to YouTube so that we can get value out of that as well. So those are the things I got a list, because here's one of the things that I'm going to struggle with. I think there's going to be, my belief is over the next several months as we do this project, there's going to be a ton of good information. I know it is. It's not all going to come from me. It's going to come from you guys and what you put into it. But we're going to have a ton of information. The struggle I'm going to have is organizing it. I'm going to have to figure out ways to streamline it, organize it, make it so that it's accessible, easily accessible for everyone to be able to sift through. Now, if you take a look at my desk, this is literally my desk, you'll know organization is not one of my strengths. So I'm gonna look for assistance on that, and we'll get through it. I promise you I'll figure it out. But that is going to be literally one of the biggest things. There's going to be so much information. How do I get it organized so that we can refer back to it? I'll take care of that. I'm asking for you guys to help me with the content. So it's going to have the questions. There's going to be a platform for you guys to be able to have a great resource. Now, another thing that I think is a really good resource, and I'm going to urge you to do it. I'm not going to require it by any means, but the UBT, the United Blood Trackers. I had one question asked me. It was, someone made a comment and said, we'd really like to have you talk to our DNR. This is a guy from Minnesota, because Minnesota doesn't have legal tracking. Well, I don't have, the time or the political leverage to do things. But I will tell you this. So this is Todd Martin's question that was in a comment of one of these posts, about just kind of introducing the idea of this thing. The UBT, the United Blood Trackers, it's a nonprofit group. I'm a member. I'm a lifetime member. I'll always be a member of it. They are the ones who fight to allow legalities when it comes to recovery dogs. So, and in addition to that, there's a ton of knowledge there. Now, they have a group. You become a member, you get into these closed groups and all this stuff. I'm not doing closed groups. I don't want to do closed groups. We're all a part of more groups than we want to be a part of. So we're not doing anything special for this. We're doing it right off of our Dog Bone platform. But if you're a member of the UBT, you have the opportunity to get in on some of these little circles that have a ton of knowledge, but resources for things when it comes to the political ends of it. So that's one thing that I wanted to touch on because I think it's important. I think I will recommend that you guys be members of that, and that can be required too. The other thing that I think this is going to offer for you guys is accountability. Sometimes I need accountability when I'm doing anything. Most of the time I need it with everything. So with the training and the tracking part of this is going to be an opportunity to give you some accountability when it comes to your training. Because like I said, this is not an audience-based project. This is an activity-based project. You're going to have to take part in activities if you want to gain something out of it. I suppose you could watch, but I don't know if that's that much fun. So, and I don't know that you'll gain much out of it. So it's going to be a real great spot for us to be able to work together. One of the things I want to stress is we're going to get through this training together. I'm going to get through it with you. I am walking through the same steps with dogs of all ages and varieties and levels of experience. Same as you. So I don't want to see, I'm not going to do it because he's not working with a dog like mine. So what? I don't care. There's so many, in these last two posts, I bet you there's been 5 or 6 different breeds that have been posted. Those who have had success, those who want to have success. So it really doesn't matter. And there's going to be plenty of proof of that. So I'm going to put that out there as well. Let's see. Question. Interesting. So now, what do you need to do? So I'm going to speed up because I got Friday Night Lights tonight, and you guys probably do too. Football, for those who don't know. Here's what we're going to do. what do you need? And then I'll go through, because I know some people have asked some questions, and man, I have really struggled to multitask. So I'm going to go finish this, then I'm going to scroll through. What do you need to do to be a part of this? So that's what this is, just introducing it to you. You're going to need some tools. I'm going to use certain tools. One of the things that I'm going to show you, and this is, I do it hesitantly because I don't want someone to go, oh God, he's selling us stuff. Well, yes and no maybe. But this is a DVD that we did on game recovery. A lot of people don't realize we have a game recovery DVD. I had 3 people this week call me and go, I didn't know you did a DVD on it. Now, do you need this? No, you don't need it, because if you stick with me for the next 3 to 4 months, you'll get all of that plus some, okay? But it's going to take 3 to 4 months for you to get all of it. A lot like this. This is our foundation DVD, and a lot of people ask, where do I get started? Well, you need this before you can ever do any of that stuff. The game recovery, the shed training, the upland, gun dog, doesn't matter. Foundation is first. So foundation you're getting with the Live with Spry's, I hope. Live with Spry is, she's 10 months, going on 10 months old. We're probably 40% of the way through with her, to where I'm going to say she's maybe even close to kind of advanced. She's nowhere near it right now. So this DVD is Live with Spry in 2.5 hours. Live with Spry is 18 months. So if you're willing to put in 18 months of following along with Live with Spry, you get the same stuff as this is. So and it's free. This is free. So you can get all the game recovery stuff you want. I think you get a nice jump start if you've got this, because you're going to know the direction we're going. You're going to see the big picture. I don't have time, and I won't be able to paint the big picture to you guys. We're going to go literally step by step with different dogs. So you're not going to see the big picture. That will help you see the big picture. The other stuff that we have, we're going to get into the tools and parts and pieces of it, but we're going to use the stuff that we have in our game recovery system. I use a hide. I'm big on hides. I'm big on the scent that we make. We make a couple scents. I'll grab it here. We got a couple things. I'm big on our scent. When I say our scent, I mean I literally batch it myself. You can use blood, and I know people use blood, and there's blood a part of that. I don't believe in just blood by itself, because if there was just blood on the trail, I wouldn't need a dog. So I need other things. I need other parts. So when we go through the blood trail scent, which this is liquid form, this is in stick form, I use both. Different conditions, different applications, I use both. It's replicating all sorts of scent clues, and as we get into it, we're going to be able to talk about how dogs process scent. I think that's real important. You can't teach dogs to do things if you don't understand how they learn. So we're going to talk about how they process scent. But this has a lot of different scent elements in it that are associated with and can connect to our trail later. We're big on hides. I'm big on hides. For the recovery, this is the hide that I actually use, and it's not a coincidence that it fits on a standard bumper. The size is the same. We wrap the bumper with it towards the end. So the tools that we need we'll get into more down the road. I'm actually thinking about putting together like a little kit or a package that will have everything that I think you need offered in one lump sum, so it's just click on one thing to order it. We'll add it kind of like a new product on our site, on our website. So hang with me on that. I don't know how to do that, but I know people that do. So Steph, I hope you're watching. So we'll get that stuff squared away. But that's all you need. You need a few tools. You need to be able to share. You need to be able to take part and be active. You need to be a practitioner. It's not a audience type based thing. That's all you have to do. Now, what do you get for that? We're going to give you stuff, because this is what I want. I know people like stuff. I like stuff too. This is what I want. This is how bad I want people to follow along with this. This is how bad I want to grow this. We're going to give you, this is all, and it doesn't cost anything. Okay? So you don't even have to buy a single thing from us. And this is what I'm going to give you if you take part in this thing and help grow it. We're going to give you a t-shirt. We're going to give you a whistle. I'll grab it right here. You've seen me wear this. It's one of the only shirts I wear. Not this one, but mine are about washed, faded out. But this t-shirt, this travel bowl, it's a bowl that I clip on my training bag. with a bottle of water, and I can give it, it pops out, and then I can give drinks. This training whistle, which is a British style whistle that we make, and then we're going to do a decal, a window decal. So I'm going to give that to you. What I need from you is I need you to go to our website. There's a thing in the top left corner, and it's called, let's see, it's called Recovery Team. I should turn this. So here's where that is. Right here, it's Recovery Team. You click on that. I think you click on that. Come on. I got too many things open apparently. There it is. You fill this form out. We're going to add t-shirt size. Okay? This is it. It's just your information. Okay? And then we're going to send you that stuff. And then you're part of it. But then you have to keep going with it. You have to be interactive with it. You have to take part. You have to be a practitioner. So that's it. That's the rundown on the Cliff Note version of what it is. If you have questions, this is where it gets good because you can ask them and we can answer them. And on the, I know there were already questions. This is what I like about this thing. On the question, we already had information exchanged. We had someone ask a question on one of the posts that I did. Let me bring it up here. And I won't get into it too great a detail, but how just that post introducing the idea of this tracking team, this recovery team thing. Someone asked, J.R. Cook had a great question. He says, how long can a trail age before you won't bother? 24 hours, more or less. So we got this interaction going with questions already directly related to tracking. My answer was, I think the conditions dictate it more than anything, than the time that's passed, ideal conditions, blah, 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 blah. You can read the answer. It's posted right here. That's why I like this as opposed to direct messaging, because everyone's got the same questions. So if we keep this all in the open, everyone's going to see the answer. Everyone's going to benefit from it. I had this one ended up, he asked a question, I made an answer. He thanked me for the reply. Diane Richardson added a comment in, which was valuable, with some experience of her own. That is exactly what I'm looking for. Then J.R. Cook says, well, Diane, I'm in Arizona and the temps are warm most of the winter. And then he says, but your dogs are used to that. So now all of a sudden we've got this little, and then I chime back in and I talk about temperatures and the impacts of weather from a mechanical standpoint on how dogs process it. So there's good information right there off of just a couple of these posts. That's the point. So I'm going to scroll through because this is getting longer than it needs to get. And I'm going to work on shortening things up. One thing about the recovery, this dog bone recovery effort, we're going to hashtag it, dog bone recovery. One thing about the dog, so you can do that if you do posts. That's what I'm hoping you'll do. And then we can search it. Easier for us to search it. There's a reason for it, I guess. But one thing that we're going to do is, now I lost my train of thought with it. I'll think of it. Let's see. I'm going to scroll through and look if there's questions. Oh, I know what I was going to say. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to keep them shorter and more specific to certain topics. I get a little long-winded. It's clear. I always do. Well, I'm going to keep these a bit more focused. So we're going to tackle little items, little subjects. And I think that probably a lot of these topics are going to be dictated by the interaction of other people. So people that are on here making comments to our page, I'm going to be sharing a ton of them. And that's the one thing that you'll have to get used to is you'll have to be checking other people's posts to our page to get some of it. But I'll be sharing a lot of it to our page as well as an administrator so that it comes up as a post in the feed. So anyway, those are going to be spots that generate a lot of the topics that we talk about. So I'm going to go back and look at some of these things. I was breaking up for Angie. She was going to watch it later. You guys have Curtis Carlson and Jason said I'm good. So Steph joined in here. So Justin Jones. Justin Jones is a guy that I know. Justin had a pup early on with Live with Spry. Justin, you were real involved with us with the Live with Spry process. Now you say can't wait to get a new pup next year and start up again. So welcome back to this thing. Sierra, how are you? Lucky enough to get a black bear last weekend. I collected the liver, heart, and some blood from the bear. Should I use this to start my pup with, or wait till I have some deer liver? I'll be mostly tracking deer. You know, Chad, if it's me, I wait to get a deer liver. You know, it's not, I don't think it hurts to use a bear liver, but here's one thing I have learned, and I learned it from, now we're referenced back to the UBT. President of the UBT, Andy Bensing, really good resource. I've had some really good conversations with him. One thing that stuck in my mind of conversation that we had was he told me when we were talking about some of the ideas behind tracking, what you should use, all this stuff for blood and trailing and all that stuff. Everyone's got their own way of doing it, and none of them are wrong. But he told me, and it stuck with me, he said, you can train a dog to recover wounded deer using women's perfume as the scent. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, tracking is tracking. It's separating scents. So when you ask, should I use a bear or a deer liver or tracking's tracking. I've never trained a dog to track a bear using bear stuff, but I'd be willing to bet that my tailor would probably track a bear very efficiently, a wounded bear, and find it. Now, I'm not big on it myself, but could she? Absolutely. No different than she'll track anything. So tracking's tracking. But yes, I think you could, or I think you wait for a liver, either or. Good evening. Had a good night with Coda. Chase is in. Chase is working on some stuff with his dog. Real active in our live with Spry, which is awesome. Tracking will have to wait with Sadie for another year until school ends, but I love the idea of recovering as many deer as possible. It's hard to explain to non-hunters that hunting is about respect. Absolutely, Nicole, and I appreciate that comment because that's totally the objective. The objective is, I should say, you know, I got a lot of objectives in life, but one of them is recover every deer that is recoverable. I think that should be every hunter's thought process. I think a dog is the best conservation tool out there, bottom line. So it's real simple that way. Jason says, thanks, you bet. I'm excited about this. I think it will be a big help, said Chad. Live with Spry is awesome. Jeff likes those. Live with Spry has evolved into its own little world, which I like. Jeff said, so this is the foundation DVD. Yeah, this is. So it's 2 DVDs. It's actually over 2.5 hours of information. They couldn't rein me in on that one. I really got loose on it. So a lot of information. Heel sit, stay in here. 4 major things that are covered in 2.5 hours. So you want to take Live with Spry over the next however many months it takes to get to the point where we're done with that. Compress it into 2.5 hours. That's what that is. Jason had it leak in his Jeep. I bet your dog will find you. This is going to be great. Looking forward to it. Nick, glad you're on board. Carly got in. KM Cutters is in. Kyle. Matt Green. KM, I saw you sent me a video earlier today. I haven't had a chance to watch it. I will watch it. I did see one come in, though. Matt Green. Pruka joined in. Well, it's really nice of you, Pruka, to watch me. I don't have a Bears jersey on. I appreciate that. Doomer. Cody is in. Ryan Hess joined in. Ryan Hess. The same Ryan Hess with a little Artie down in the south. Louisiana, New Orleans. Where's New Orleans? Louisiana. This is going to be great. Can't wait to get started. Awesome. Zach. Ryan Hess has one of the first dogs that I trained for tracking. One of the first ones that I did for someone else. I don't know how many years ago that was. That was quite a while back. If you train your dog for upland and waterfowl hunting, is deer recovery going to be an issue? Absolutely not, Jason. I think tracking is tracking. I firmly believe tracking is tracking. Hunting is hunting. You train your upland dogs to track. You train your deer dogs to track. Tracking is tracking. Hunting is hunting. It's scent discrimination. So if I train a pheasant dog to track, does that mean he won't track a duck? Or if I start tracking ducks, do I get into trouble? No, not at all. And everyone kind of understands that. But when you start talking big game versus small game, I think I made a post, big game, small game, hell, medium game, I don't care what it is, tracking is tracking. So it will not. I think it helps. So like a kid that's an athlete that plays one sport versus a kid that's an athlete and plays 5 sports. Who's going to become the better athlete? I think the one who does 5 sports has a better opportunity because they develop different skill sets. They develop different coordination. They develop all sorts of different stuff, and they have a lot more chance to develop the idea of teamwork. Well, what is tracking? It's a handler and a dog. That's a team. There's no such thing as just a tracking dog. There's no such thing as just a handler, a tracker. You got to have two. You got to marry them up. And in order to get really effective, you get good trackers and good dogs, and you put them together. So that's where the team part of this comes in. Since Coda is almost 6 months, can he be a part of his foundation? Isn't perfect by any means, but is getting there. Absolutely, Chase. I've got dogs. Spry is not, her foundation is not done. Moja, her foundation is just being built. The pup that I'm going to be bringing in is younger than her, less of a foundation. So, yes, and then more yes. I have been putting this part of Bailey's training off. Can't wait to get going on this. Awesome, Nick. Nick's got a great little German dog. He's got a wire. Now, Nick, Drahtar, Bailey a Drahtar, I think, not a German wire hair, or is it a German wire hair? I get confused. I know the guys with the German dogs, they got Deutsch this and Deutsch that. And I call them dogs, pointing dogs, versatile pointing dogs. Mike Keevan, hey, how are you? Mike, I think Mike might be new to these. I don't know that I've seen him. I will ask you guys to do me the favor of sharing these. Share them to someone that you think this is going to help. Gabe has been doing some straight line fines and already great with a dry and wet hide. When do I introduce the blood trail liquid? Jason, we'll get into that with more detail as we get going, but I'd have it in right now. I'd be adding it in as part of the scenting elements. Hide is part of it, but we're not going to train dogs to do one thing. That's the thing about game recovery is there's so many, like game recovery is a crime scene, literally. Like it's like a crime scene. There's all sorts of clues. I hope it's not a crime, but there's all these clues. You bring your dog's the detective. Your dog has to assess all these little clues, visual, scent driven, but all these little clues, put them in the back of his mind, and then start putting the pieces of the puzzle back together. And tracking is nothing more than a really long distance game of retrieve. That's how I approach it with my dogs, because my dogs are retrievers. So you could start now. And how? By dripping it on the hide. You just put it on. I'm assuming, Jason, you probably don't have the DVD. You're one that is probably a little further. You're gonna kick yourself. You're gonna be trying to push forward because we're not quite where you are yet. We'll catch up to you eventually, but you're ahead of us already, Jason. The DVD would be the thing for you to say, speed forward to the chapters that you're at, and then as you find holes in your training, this is where we're going to fill them in. This is where we'll fill them in. So I would recommend it for someone like Jason that maybe hasn't seen the DVD as a condensed version of what we're doing here over the next however many months. Chocolate Lab turns 10 weeks today. Really looking impressed with her so far. Should I get into shed and blood trailing sooner or later? She's doing great with her fundamentals, sit, here, heel, but does have a lot of work to do. Should I wait until she's nailed these down? I wouldn't. So Zach, you're in a position that you need to build your foundation first. We don't just work on one thing at a time, although we do focus on perfecting one thing at a time and then adding another link to it and then adding another link to it and then adding another link to it, and we build off of it. But so at 10 weeks old, foundation first for sure. But Zach, you'll be able to do some of the stuff that I do with this little puppy that's never done any of this before by laying some little initial trails. Go back and watch a live that I didn't do it live, I filmed it. Moja, we put Moja on her first track. That's what I would do with your 10-week-old right now, Zach. Moja was probably about 10 weeks when we did it. Scroll back in our page, you'll see that. It might be on our YouTube channel right now too. Cool, can't wait to see what you say. So Cam Cutter sent me a video today, and it had something to do with retrieving. I read just the first line. Already still kicking butt. Several hundred recoveries as a result of your system. I appreciate that, Ryan. Ryan had a pup from one of my first tracking dogs. Dogbone, I'm sure that's Sierra celebrating Friday, football, light bulbs, a clock. That's probably her way of saying to get home. Nick said yes. Yes to what now? Is it a Drahtar? Is it a German wire hair? Is it the Deutsch? I don't know. Thanks, I'd I'd like to do all. I just purchased a wire hair and was looking for your training video, trailing video. Some stores have it, Jason. You can Google it. You'll find it in a lot of places. The other place that I know has it, because we ship them to you, is dogbonehunter.com. And there's a whole half of our site is dedicated to game recovery. Half of it is dedicated to sheds. Jason Erickson got in, no problem, late. So if you want a dog to be skilled in shed, antler hunting, game recovery, waterfowl, and upland, can it be too much for them? Jake, every one of my dogs does it. And then in addition to that, we have Taylor, who is a certified therapy dog. So not too much. Is it a lot? Does it take work? Yes. But so does everything that's worth anything. So can it be too much? It maybe can be too much if you don't do it in the right sequencing. If you don't approach it in a manageable way, I think anything can become too much. But if you put together the plan the right way, no, I don't think so at all. We do it. I do it with every one of mine. So Jason Olson says, no, I've been working on it with Irv on this. Got it. DVD it is. There he goes. Steve Sobey. Steve Sobey's got tracking dogs, and his son Jake's got tracking dogs. They're up in the UP. Drot, Nick says. So I will not forget that again. Ed joined in. All right, guys, that's it. Friday Night Lights. Thank you for following. Thank you for supporting. I'm really excited about this project. I think I'm maybe more excited about it because it's something that I've wanted to do now for multiple seasons, so literally more than 1 year. And I'm going to start sharing with you, and I ask you to share me. Give me the support from a momentum standpoint by sharing the success you've had. Go to our website, sign up, so I know we got these people in, but we'll give you the free stuff. If that's what it takes to get you to show me that you've done it already, that's what it's going to take to push people like Vicky Rayburn. That's what it's going to push Tom, Joe, Harry, whoever that's on the fence that's going, oh, I got a really good dog and it's got a really good nose, but I just don't know how to do it. Or I'm afraid to do it. Is it too complicated for me? I'm not a professional. I don't care. I'm going to be careful. I get a little into this and I start slipping, but I don't care. So do me the favor and keep me motivated with it by sharing your success. Pictures, stories, videos, anything. I'll share them to everyone else. We will get the momentum going that way, and then we'll grow it. And it'll take a little time. This is the very first one, so I am going to tell you this. It will take patience. It will take time. It will take some effort. But again, what out there that's good doesn't take that? Nothing. Okay? There's nothing easy, quick, and simple that turns into anything that's that great. So I'm gonna be honest with you, man, this isn't gonna be fancy, because I'm not fancy. And so we're gonna be as simple as possible, but it is gonna take some work. And I'm just warning you up ahead of time, because that's what it's gonna take. So you guys have a great weekend. I'm still feeling out the frequency and the time of this, but I wanted to get it out there and introduce it so we can start getting people signed up, so we can start. I mean, if you look at over here, that box is full of t-shirts. Now, we're going to make them yet, but it's full of t-shirts. That rack over there is full, not full, but there's enough shirts. But I've got enough. So you start signing up. We'll start getting you involved. You start sharing to us. We'll start getting this thing going, and we'll see how it forms up. I got a feeling it's going to be pretty sweet. So have a great weekend. I'll probably be doing some, I know I'll be filming stuff. I don't know how much live stuff I'll be doing. I know I'll be filming a lot of the stuff this weekend that will be additional content for this in the future. So now is the time. I challenge you to get started on your end, and I'll get started on my end, and then we'll see how this thing pans out. So have a great weekend. Nick Ackerman just nailed it. Got quite a little project here. So as soon as we find the middle, Nick will be there. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon.